Hey guys, Victoria Paxton here. Thanks for stopping back by my YouTube channel. Okay guys, so today we're going to talk about Rebecca Zahau. Okay guys, hey, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You guys know the drill, it's free. And everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. If you're a psychic, do your own reading. If you're a fake psychic, don't steal my shit so I don't have to do anything illegally. Sorry that I have to say that every freaking time. Okay, so pay no attention to this hair situation today. It's got a mind of its own, y'all. The air quality is so shitty here. I have a headache again. My blood pressure has been dropping out like crazy. I hope everybody in Canada is safe and okay because it's horrible in the DMV area, you guys. Horrible. Like, I can't imagine what they're going through. So, okay. So, you know how I do this. I'll read the research. We'll talk about when I connected and we'll go from there. Okay, so Rebecca, now, let me preface this by saying a lot of these names are so hard to pronunciate. You guys know I hate trying to pronunciate people's names. I don't mean any disrespect. So, Rebecca Maui Zahau was born on March 15th, 1979 in Phalam Chin State, a town in the Chin Hills in northwestern Burma, to her father, sorry for butchering your name, Kwa Nyen Thang, and her mother Zung Ten Par. Again, no disrespect, I apologize. After living in Nepal and Germany, Zahau moved to the US about 10 years before her death. Zahau came from a family of Chin ethnicity and was raised as a Protestant. Her parents and most of her family members live in St. Joseph's, Missouri. I know where that is. It's not far from Kansas City, Missouri. Pretty area. She had an older sister, Mary Zahau. The landscapers are out doing the common area of my neighborhood. Really? I apologize. She had an older sister, Mary Zahau Lohner, a younger sister, Snoam Harwith, who lives in Germany, and a teenage sister, Zina Zahau, among other siblings. I'm not sure why they didn't put her other siblings down. In 2002, Zahau married 36-year-old nursing student Neil Nalipa of Scottsdale, Arizona. They divorced in February of 2011. Rebecca worked as an... You guys, this word gets me every time. Ophthalmic technician. So an ophthalmology technician, basically, right? Until quitting in December of 2010. In 2008, Rebecca began dating Max Shacknai, the CEO of Medicis Pharmaceutical, while she was still married to Nalepa. Shacknai's position at Medicis made him the 9th highest paid CEO in Arizona in the year 2010. Shacknai's first marriage to Kimberly James resulted in a divorce and a 3-year custody battle over the couple's 2 children. He had a son, Maxfield Aaron, also known as Max, who was born June 7th of 2005 and died July 16th, 2011, with his second wife, Dina Romano. On July 11th, 2011, Rebecca, Max, and Rebecca's teenage sister, Zina, were at the Spreckles Mansion in Coronado, California, which Shacknai used as a summer estate. At some point during the day, Max fell face first over a second-floor banister, suffering injuries to his spinal cord and facial bones, the former of which affected his heart rate and breathing. Rebecca said she was in the bathroom at the time. She found Max moments later, and Zina called 911. Max was not breathing and was unresponsive and was taken to Rady Children's Hospital in San Diego. The poor baby died on July 16th due to brain damage caused by oxygen deprivation resulting from his injuries. On July 26th, investigators ruled Max's death as an accident, speculating that he somehow tripped. However, a trauma doctor who examined Max prior to his death and autopsy stated to police that he did not believe the injuries from his fall were consistent with the cardiac arrest and brain swelling experienced by him, suggesting that Max may have suffocated prior to his fall. On July 12, 2011, Zahau dropped off Zina at the airport for her flight back to Missouri and then picked up Shacknai's brother Adam, who just arrived on a flight from Memphis, Tennessee. Sahai, Jonah, and Adam ate dinner with a friend named Howard that evening. Zahau and Adam returned to the Spreckles mansion while Jonah reportedly kept a vigil at Max's bedside with the child's mother, Dina Romano. He would leave the hospital to recuperate at a nearby Ronald McDonald house. There were reports of loud music coming from the Spreckles mansion later that night. On the morning of July 13th, at around 6:45 a.m., Adam, Shacknai's brother, stated that he found Zahau's nude body hanging from a balcony, and her wrists and ankles were bound and her hands were behind her back. How many people do you know that are going to themselves would strip naked first? Yeah, me neither. Adam Shacknai called 911 at 6:48 a.m. and then sent a text message to his brother to inform him of the news. He cut down Zahau's body before the police arrived. Medics attempted to revive her but pronounced her dead at the scene. Police initiated forensic and toxicology testing on her body as part of an autopsy to determine her cause of death. Speculations of foul play began early on in the case. However, investigators were unable to find any other DNA at the scene besides Zahau's. On September 2nd, the San Diego County Sheriff's Department formally announced their findings that Zahau's death was a... Here we go. Zahau's autopsy results revealed 4 instances of head trauma, about which investigators and outside commentators expressed various theories. San Diego medical examiner... Take a drink, everybody. Sip! Used to go see this hysterical comedian, Robert Downey Jr. He was freaking amazing. And he would do this thing where he would go, sip! And everybody would take a sip. Yeah. Sorry, you guys. San Diego medical examiner Jonathan Lucas stated that because there was evidence that she went over the balcony in a non-vertical position, she may have struck her head on the balcony on the way down. Werner Spitz, an expert witness who testified during the trial of Casey Anthony, said it was a possibility, stating when the body first dropped, she doesn't necessarily jump to her death, so she would drop directly downward so she could easily hit against the side of the structure from which she is hanging. However, he noted that to draw stronger conclusions, he would have preferred to see what the body looked like before the wrist bindings were removed. Forensic consultant Dr. Maurice Godwin expressed doubt, stating, the chances of bumping into the railing, going over the balcony, and hitting your head 4 times is highly unlikely. A second autopsy on Zahau was conducted by pathologist Dr. Cyril Weck. I love him, you guys. He's awesome. At her family's request. Weck testified that he believed fractures in Zahau's throat were caused by manual strangulation, not by hanging. He further stated that he thought Zahau's death was a homicide. An attorney for Zahau's family stated that other inaccuracies were found with the Sheriff's Department investigation, including evidence that indicated that Zahau was sexually assaulted before her death. Family members expressed suspicions for why Zahau's hands and feet were bound. San Diego Sheriff Roy Frank stated there are documentations of incidents throughout the country where people have secured their hands and feet as well to prevent themselves from changing their minds. Police reenacted the scenario in an effort to determine whether it would have been possible for Zahau to bind herself in that fashion, and showed a video demonstration in which a woman wrapped a rope around her hand several times in front of her, slipped one hand out of the binding, then placed her hand behind the back, rebound them, and tighten them. The bindings with the aid of a string similar to the one which police found in Zahau's hands. A message had been painted on the door of the room leading to the balcony below where police found Zahau's body. According to Zahau's ex-husband, Nalipa, it read, "She saved him. Can he save her?" Officials initially declined to confirm this. In media comments, Sheriff Gore only stated that it was not a clear suicide note. However, investigators took it as further evidence of Zahau liked to paint as a hobby and had signed her paintings in the past. Her siblings contended that the message did not match her handwriting. Nalepa also stated the note did not appear to be something that Zahau would have written. Police served Verizon and AT&T with search warrants to obtain cell phone billing records and took Zahau's... You guys, I'm dying over here. Hang on a second. That's hot as hell. Oh my God, that feels so good. Okay, you guys, sorry. I'm going to have this thing on. You know, I'm going through the change, right? So it's hot. Okay. So police served Verizon and AT&T with search warrants to obtain cell phone billing records and took Zahau's Samsung Focus cell phone as evidence. According to the AT&T records from roughly 8 p.m. until 10 p.m., Zahau talked and texted with her older sister Mary, who confirmed that Zina had arrived home safely. At 10:48 p.m., Zahau received a text from Nina Romano, the twin sister of Jonah Shacknai's ex-wife, who wanted to stop by the house and talk about Max's accident. Zahau did not reply to that message. Police said Zahau checked her voicemail a few hours later, 12:50 a.m., and listened to a message. Billing records do not show who left that message. Police stated it was a message regarding the worsening of Max's condition, but declined to confirm at the time who left the message. Mary stated that the police told her that it was from Jonah. The message was deleted, meaning that police and Zahau's family never heard the contents of the message. Investigators initially did not attempt to power up or operate the cell phone, fearing that they might overwrite evidence contained in its memory. Instead, they tried to determine whether forensic software was available, which would allow them to examine that model of phone. On August 15th, unable to identify any such technology, a detective turned on the phone and conducted a manual search of it, finding that the voicemail message was not stored on the phone. They did not request that AT&T try to retrieve the deleted message from its servers. Why the hell not? Later, on September 21st, an investigator announced that they would be using new technology to copy the phone's data for further investigation. In early October, investigators completed their second examination of the phone, stating that they did not uncover any additional information and would return it to Zahau's family. I'm sorry, you guys, but sometimes I don't know, y'all. Okay, here we go. Sip. See my little fan things? They're so cool. Thanks, Kim. She's the one that told me to buy them. Okay, you guys. So, I was doing a Friday Night Live a couple weeks ago. And I had a beautiful young woman come through. She said her name was Becky. I didn't have a clue who she was at first. I then realized, okay, let me turn the thing off. I then realized that it was Rebecca Zahau when she told me, because she said her name was Becky. So she came through right away. She told me that Max's death was an accident. Okay. And she said that she was murdered. So I was able to connect with her 4 more times after this, and I was able to get a few questions answered. So I asked her what happened with Max. And she said probably 20 minutes to a half an hour before he fell, he was physically taking his scooter and like trying to jump it up onto the banister and like ride the banister like you would if you were on like a skateboard. And he was messing around, and she jokingly said, "You better stop that or you're going to end up getting hurt," right? She was in the bathroom. She heard this horrible noise. She came out. Max was on the ground. Zina had run over. Max was unconscious. She felt terrible. She didn't know what the hell to do. Zina called 911. Okay. So she said she was just absolutely heartbroken. Like, and I think to make matters worse, she was saying, on top of it, she felt like Jonah didn't believe her, right? Even though her little sister was there and knew that she hadn't done anything, you know, she felt like that was the worst part, that he didn't believe her. And that's what really bothered her, was the fact that he didn't believe her, right? You know, she was like, he could have just believed me and taken my side, you know? So she said, you know, she knew it was bad. He was unconscious, and she said it was terrible, which I can't even imagine going through that. Okay, so at another point in time when we spoke, when we connected, she told me about what she last remembered of her life. She was in her room, and her Jonah's brother. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, that always happens. Okay, so she said she was in her room. She heard Adam, who was Jonah's brother. He had some music on. He was jamming. She didn't think anything of it. She was sad. She had spoken to Jonah shortly before that, and she had spoken to her sister for a little while, for several hours actually. And she tried to go to sleep, so she's pretty sure she fell asleep because she was awoken to, she heard two men's voices outside of her room. She said she knew one was Adam, the other one didn't sound like Jonah. She didn't know that voice. They basically came into her room, busted into her room. Unfortunately, she remembers being assaulted by this other gentleman who Adam referred to as Larry. And she said she kind of blacked out when that was going on, and she doesn't really remember much of anything else. And I said, is there any possible way that being assaulted had nothing to do with yourself? She said, absolutely not. She's like, I did not do this to myself. I would not have done this to myself. She's like, I could never put my family through that. She's like, and not to mention, Max ultimately died in the end. And she said, you know, I felt responsible for that, even though I didn't, it wasn't an intentional thing. You know, I was in the bathroom, it happened. He was being a kid. You know, she's like, but I get it. Everybody was pissed off at me. She's like, I totally understood. You know, I understand that because you know, it was hell. I can't imagine. And she said she basically blacked out. She doesn't remember much of anything else, you know. She said, it's my chair, you guys. I'm sorry, it's loud. She said, you know, it's not the death of Max is not anything she wants to think about or relive, you know, and the accident leading up to. She said it was terrible. She said she was glad she didn't know what the hell happened to her after the assault. But she was definitely assaulted, you guys. According to her, she was assaulted. I think there's a lot more to this case. I pray her family gets some sort of justice, but unfortunately, I don't see that ever happening. It's not going to happen. Her death was ruled and they're going to keep it as a. I'm not sure if that's because Jonah Shacknai has all this money and the police just didn't want to step on any toes. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. But there was much more to it. And these two men know what happened. You know, but unfortunately, I don't think her family's ever going to get justice, which is bullshit. Y'all know how I feel about that. It's just a sad case, you guys. There's just... It's just a sad case, you know. All right, guys. Be nice, be kind, stay safe, stay healthy. The air quality, like I said, here is shit in the DMV area. Like all of DC, Maryland, and Virginia, it's literally, it's foggy outside, right? But the sun's out. It's so smoky. I hope everybody in Canada is doing okay. Don't forget Friday Night Live, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on my channel. We have a great group of people on there. We have fun. So come hang out with us. Even if you can only come in for 15 or 20 minutes, come hang out with us. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And that about does it for me. Bye, guys.